I was absolutely emotionally destroyed by The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse. This is utterly gorgeous. If you're in a fragile state when watching it, it will completely break you down and then build you up again piece by piece. And I was in tears by the end of it. It's absolutely beautiful. It's currently on BBC iPlayer, and it was released last year at the end of 22, directed by Peter Baynton and Charlie Mackesy or Mackesy, written based on the book by Charlie Mackesy, adapted for this short by Jon Croker. And just very briefly, really great voice cast, including Jude Nicoll as the boy, Tom Hollander as the mole, Idris Elba as the fox, and Gabriel Byrne as the horse. And I'll talk about those characters in turn in a moment. For the most part, this is stunning. It is almost perfect. But there were a couple of things that I didn't really think were the best decisions. One thing in particular that I thought actually kind of ruined it. And I'll talk about that in a moment. Now, I say it ruined it. It didn't really hinder my enjoyment of it. But certainly there was something that I thought was a really bad choice. But other than that, it's stunning. And the first thing I want to mention before I talk about the narrative and the fact that it actually determines the meaning of life, finally we have an answer of what is the point of life. The animation quality is just, it's ridiculous. It's gorgeous. It is so soft and gentle, and the colors are just, it's absolutely beautiful. The majority of it is bright white because it's very snowy. Definitely has this beautiful winter vibe to it, but the fox in particular, the bright orange of the fox is just a stark contrast, and it works so well, and it's just visually so beautiful. And then you couple that with the great voice acting and the lovely narrative, and it really did break me quite a bit. So it's all about this little boy called the boy, and he is lost. And part of me thought, okay, I don't know how you got this far away from anything, but it's a lot more metaphorical than that. I obviously he's on this physical journey with these characters. It starts out that he meets the character of the mole, who is absolutely adorable. And if they don't turn that mole into a soft toy, they're not doing their marketing right, because they could definitely use those plushies to advertise this film. Um, and then as the journey progresses, they meet the fox, and I'll talk more about the fox in a moment because I think the fox is a really great character. And then they ultimately meet the horse, and they go on this journey together, trying to find out where the boy needs to go. And he's looking for a home. He's not looking for his home, he's looking for any home. And because he's not trying to get back to his home, I was okay with the fact that this young boy was in the middle of nowhere by himself. Had he been trying to return to his family, his house, wherever that may have been, I would have severely questioned why he was on his own in the middle of nowhere and why he was completely abandoned. So I like the fact that it was more of a metaphor. He was just trying to find his place in the world. And that's what this film is about. It's about trying to work out where you're meant to be, where you're going, and the ultimate message here. In fact, I've written it down, the direct quote. I can't remember who says this. It might have been the mole. I can't remember exactly, but somebody said, "We are here to love and be loved," and it completely broke me. Um, they basically just summed up the meaning of life. Uh, to love others and be loved and be kind and considerate and caring. And the boy points out that a home doesn't, it's completely broken me. A home doesn't have to be a house. A home is where you are with the people you love. And it melted me completely. It's such a beautiful message, and I like the fact that it's just this giant extended metaphor. So, the fox. The fox is a nasty character for the first couple of seconds, and the mole displays this beautiful, admirable quality as he goes to help the fox. I won't say exactly what the problem was with the fox, but he goes to help this fox, and the fox, having realised that this potential prey has helped him, he decides not to eat the mole, of course, and otherwise that would be the end of the film quite quickly. And it's just so beautiful that by showing kindness, the fox showed kindness in return. And it's basically the message of the entire film. So it's beautiful, it's gorgeous. It's so emotional. There are a few things that I don't like. First of all, why was the mole obsessed with cake? I didn't like that. I thought it was unnecessary. I thought it was pointless. Maybe they were trying to inject some humor in there, but it felt like they were trying too hard with that. The other thing that I didn't like, and this is a tiny spoiler for something that's revealed, so tiny spoiler warning, when the horse reveals that he can fly, I just thought that's really stupid. Because up until that point, I could believe that this young boy was spending time with these animals, these different species, these characters from all different walks of life, with ultimately the same end goal, is to be loved. It made sense. I could imagine it happening. And then you bring in this fantasy element of a flying horse. And I just thought it really ruined it. And it really ruined the magic because it instantly made it unbelievable. And I get what they were trying to do. The horse had to hide that part of him because of how other horses reacted, but his new friends accepted him for who he was. It's a nice message, but I think bringing in fantasy into something that is all about what real life is all about absolutely ruined it. Just in that moment, I got over it very quickly, but when it was revealed and for kind of the minute or so that followed, I thought you've brought in an element, you've tried too hard. Maybe you've tried to bring in fantasy, certainly to capture the attention of younger viewers, but and also readers, based on the book, of course. I'm just assuming that it's in the book, but it completely sucked me out of reality and stopped making it about real life because it stopped being believable. And that kind of ruined the entire point that it's telling you that real life is all about spending time with the people you love, being loved, and showing that love in return. So it was a really bad decision. Really, really bad decision, in my opinion. Maybe other people liked it. But that aside, as I said, I did get over it after about a minute and just kind of moved on with things. It's beautiful. It's stunning. If you are fragile, I was not in the best frame of mind when I watched it. I was wanting something sweet and heartfelt to watch, and within about 5 minutes, I was a mess. By the end of it, I was, as I said, it kind of broke me down bit by bit, but then lifted me up again. And it's a real emotional journey, and it's beautiful, and the animation quality is just utterly stunning. Really great voice acting. Not a perfect narrative, as I've said. There are a few decisions that I thought were less than ideal, but ultimately the Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse is a gorgeous story with a beautiful message, and it's entirely worth watching.